All right. Let's take the 3 refuges and the 8 precepts. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Buddhang saranang gacchami. Dhammang saranang gacchami. Sanghang saranang gacchami. Tisarana gamanang paripunang. Panatipata veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Adina dana veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Abrahmacharya veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Musawada veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Sura meraya majja pamadatthana veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Vikala bhojana veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Nacha Gita Vadita Visuka Dasana Malaganda Vilepana Dharana Mandana Vibhusanatana Veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Uchasayana Mahasayana Veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Idang me silang Magapala nyanasa Pacayo Hotu Appamadena Sampadeta Sa. Hey, give me 1 minute. I forgot to take something. Never mind. Oh yeah. All right. Tomorrow onwards, we will have a guided meditation. But tonight, we'll skip the guided meditation. We'll continue with the talk. But before the talk, I got a few things, especially over here. All right. When y'all come in here, okay, a few of you need to do some duties. Okay, number one, the windows needs to be open. Okay, and also at the end, you have to close it also. So Sale Chanda Soba, you are to check the windows are open when they come in for the Dhamma talk. Okay, and also at the end, all yogis to close the window, and also you to check. Only keep the last three window open. So for me to have some ventilation. Okay, so this is your job. Second one, distribute the chanting sheet. Chanjuk Mui, you take the chanting sheet, you put it on their cushion. Okay, third one, Ija, you bring water for me every time when you have a Dhamma talk. Warm water. Number four, Pravun Singh. You come in, you ring the bell 3 times at around 8:05, 8:10 like that. Around there. A little bit louder. 3 times. Do it 3 times. And then when you come in, all the fan you turn on. And the lights also turn on. Amplifier also turn on. But afterwards, I will teach you how to do it. This one. And also this thing also. Okay. Number 5, cushions. Now cushions for all yogis, when you're finished, you leave the cushions there, but the cushion has to be arranged face to face and back to back. All right, because this cushion is like that, so we got to face, then the other one is back to back. And also, when you do the cushion, don't go through the window line there. If not, the window cannot open and close. Okay. I like to see things are neat. This is not your house. This is a temple. Temple has to be organized and properly maintained. Not suka-suka you throw here, suka-suka you throw there. That's the last thing I like to see. All right. So you'll keep it in that way. Okay. That's about it. This is for during the Dhamma talk time. Okay. Now, in the next few days, maybe by next week, I also have some devotees are offering also air purifier for the rooms and also for here and a few places. COVID cases are getting higher. COVID cases are getting higher. In fact, that somebody told me the newspaper saying that the whole world is going up by 30%. So you have to be careful. Anyway, I'll get the purifier as best as possible. Now, for air purifier to work properly, it has to be in an enclosed room, like in an air condition, then air purifier works perfectly. When you have like external air, it's still kind of work, but it's not as efficient. But the thing is that we are not too worried when the external air come in, because the external air come in, no COVID. It's the one that is the air that is inside the room. That is where the problem starts. So anyway, let it. We'll get that thing here, and I will assign also to yogis to some yogis to attend to it. How to attend to it and how to maintain the purifier also later on. And because every 2 weeks, we need to clean up the internal filter. So we'll do a bit of demonstration also later on how to clean the filter. Okay, that is one thing. The next thing, again on ventilation. Now, one of the thing that to me is very important during in the retreat or inside your room, make sure you turn on the fan. Even if it's raining, if you can, just put number 1. Even in morning also, if you can tahan, just put number 1. In the afternoon, of course, you can go up to number 3, but don't go to number 4 to number 5. It's going to be very loud, number 4, number 5. It's not going to be any more colder when it's hot day, It's just more air, more hot air running around. But the reason that we want the ventilation to be on is because we don't want a stale air. We don't want a not moving air. We want the air to keep circulating. When the air is circulating, whatever that is in the air is all diluted. The still air is where the things are concentrated. Okay? And of course, during in the meditation time, wearing mask is optional. Wearing mask is optional. As long as you keep to your lane, keep to your place to meditate, then things should be fine. After all, we are not that many yogis, at least for the first 2 weeks. And then the coming weeks, especially in the September, there'll be more yogis around that time. But I do not know whether we can survive until December, that time or not. Because if the COVID cases go high and so on, who knows, we have to close down also everything, 2020. March that time when it starts to close down. You're so mafan. There, this one, Chia Pek Hong. Yeah, so difficult to go back. The one in online. So difficult at time to go back because of the lockdown and everything. But I don't think there's going to be any lockdown. The thing is that things is going to be going on because of economic reason. But nevertheless, make sure that you all be careful. Now, during in the lunch time and breakfast time also, try not to come down before the bell ring. Don't go wait there, a ding dong, and then you still wait, and then up, then only I come. Don't do that. Bell rings, then you slowly come down. After all, there's no chanting anymore. If you want to come down for offering, it's perfectly all right. You can come down, offer for a while, then after that, proceed to take your food. Okay? This is something I can think about right now. All right. Okay. So yesterday we talked about something on the walking meditation, on basic instruction on the walking meditation. Now in the walking meditation, wait, hold on. Now, in the walking meditation that yesterday we talked about, it is, and it is essential. It is essential that you must learn to master the skill of the walking meditation. Walking meditation will determine whether you progress or not, especially in the first week of development. You neglect that walking meditation, you neglect the development of the basic ingredient, which is the mindfulness. So make sure that your walking meditation, you do it properly, like what I instructed yesterday. So in a walking meditation, there is the three phases. The first phase, second phase, third phase. The first phase, make sure you label it. Make sure you note the intention. You label it. Label the right step, left step, right step, left step, again and again. And while you're labeling the right step, left step, you pay attention whether it's hot or whether it's cold. Then if in the second phase, again, basic part is that you do the what? Lifting, dropping. You do the lifting and dropping. In the lifting and dropping, again here you label. Again you label it. And while you label it, you make sure that you know what is going on in the steps. Whether it's hard again or cold again, or whether it's heavy or whether it's light. And then after that, you go with the third phase. After 20 minutes or so, you go with the third phase. And in the third phase, then we do about 20 minutes, especially if you are a beginner. Then we do the 20 minutes in order to make sure that the mind becomes more precise in the noting. More precise means that you pay more thorough attention how the lifting, pushing, dropping, and you label them lifting, pushing, dropping. And while at it, then you pay close attention to how the lifting process is taking place, whether it's hard, whether it's heavy, whether it's vibration there, whether when it's pushed forward, what is happening to the pushing, and when it's dropping, what happened to the dropping, whether it's cold, whether it's hard, whether it's soft, and so on. Right. Before I continue, I'm feeling warm already. Okay. Yijia, you go to the fan there. R1. The knob, R1. You turn it to number 3 or number 4. Got it? The bottom, yeah. Number what? Number 4. The back also turn on. Turn on the back one also. The one in the R4. Turn on the fan also. That one, number 2 should be fine. When it's warm, my mind can't work. Don't know what to talk. But hold on, everybody. Hold on. Wait. Well, this few nights is really warm. Just now was okay. Now it's getting warm. Now better. At least I got some air here. All right, let's continue. Now, we go with the sitting meditation. Now, in the sitting meditation, in the first few days, there's nothing much you can do in the sitting meditation when in the retreat. Sometimes you may think that when you're at home, your sitting is even better than when you are in the retreat. Even though you are supposed to be full-time over here. But nevertheless, this is how usually retreat starts for most people, for most yogis. So this time, the first few days, don't become too over anxious about your sitting meditation. There'll be sleepiness, there'll be drowsiness for many of you, if you are especially your first time in a retreat and the first time in a long retreat. So first few days there'll be drowsiness, there'll be sleepiness. So don't worry about it too much. But you must make sure that you know the instructions, how to meditate well, how to meditate properly. Your skills of this sitting meditation will pick up after a few days later, when your mind becomes more clearer. If your mind is still sleepy, drowsy, and a lot of thinking, the sitting meditation will not pick up because it's all bombarded by all this, what we call the hindrances, all these hindrances. Yeah? So you have to wait for a few days. But nevertheless, every hour of the sitting, you keep on trying. Here, for beginners, try to sit for 1 hour. But it's not easy. It is not easy to sit for 1 hour. It takes us some time. It takes many yogis, sometimes maybe a week, 10 days, sometimes even 2 weeks. They left the retreat, they come back next year, they still cannot sit 1 hour. But after that, they keep on practicing, then things get better. It gets better. It gets better, it gets nearer to our 1 hour. So to sit 1 hour is not easy. It's not easy. It's not easy, and it's going to be a lot of struggle. So if you cannot achieve that 1 hour, don't be too anxious about it. If you can sit half an hour, then we sit half an hour. Get up again, do a bit of walking, then sit down again to finish the hour. Okay? Then after that, you must learn to determine, to push yourself forward a little bit more. To push yourself a little bit more, that you make a determination, okay, this time I'm going to sit for 40 minutes before I change my leg or before I get up. Then again, you push. Then after a few days later, you keep on pushing to 45 minutes, 45 minutes, 50 minutes, 50 minutes, you try to hit 1 hour. This is how we push the meditation forward. So it may take you a couple of days, or it may take you a couple of weeks, or it may take you 10 days, or it may take you, as long as you keep on pushing, you will reach to that 1 hour. So it is good that to hit 1 hour. It's good to hit the 1 hour when you are in the retreat. So when you are in the retreat, you try to reach 1 hour and not more than that. So after finish that hour, then get up to walk. Now, in the sitting meditation, in the sitting meditation, there are also a number of ways that how we can do the sitting meditation physically. Okay, physically. Now, the common practice, the common way of sitting meditation is that we do the cross-legged sitting meditation. Now, the cross-legged sitting meditation, for some people, is going to be difficult if you don't sit on the floor all the time, or some of the time. Asians is quite okay, but if you are teaching a bunch of Ang Mo, then their leg cannot go down. Their knees are all keep on hanging in the air. So, so the cross-legged is a good position. Okay, but there are several factors of cross-legged. Now, there are one cross-legged called the Burmese cross-legged. Burmese way is that you don't overlap on each other, either the left in or the right out. Well, of course, the right must be out, or the right in, left out. Either way, whichever way that you feel comfortable. And then here, with that Burmese tradition, not the Burmese position, then that one sometimes for some people they find it better to have some cushion at the buttock. Then it's useful in order to straighten up the back, because of the nature of the physical nature because of the leg is a bit out, so your body tends to go forward slightly. So in order to correct the position, they put a bit of cushion in order to naturally straighten back, make the back straight. Then there are also called the quarter lotus position. The quarter lotus position is where you put your feet on the calf, on the other side of the calf. One of it on the calf. There's one position. Either left on top or the right on top. Then the next one is there's a half lotus position. Half lotus position is one leg is on the thigh, the other leg is on the cushion, on the thighs, if you can do that. Now, the other one is the full lotus position. That means full lotus, you have to bring the other leg onto both soles of feet is on the thigh, if you can do that. There are also another position. There's one leg is cross-legged, the other leg you bend to the back. But that one, you got to be careful, because if you're not careful, your body tends to senge a little bit. It tends to bend a little bit. So in order for you to correct that position, make sure that the one that is at the back one, you pull it as close to your body as possible. You pull it as close to your buttock as close as possible. The more that you get closer to the buttock, then the easier for the body to get straightened up. Okay, so this is one way. The other way is both legs behind, like a child pose sitting. That's another way. Now, another way is that some people in the West, they have that bench for the people to sit on the bench, and then the two legs is go underneath the bench. It's like when you are kneeling position, except that there's a seat on the bench to sit on the bench. You sit on the bench, the two legs behind it. Okay, have you seen that before? Yeah. Okay, that's one way. Then also, the sitting position, there are in the West, they also have like it's created by the West. In fact, Malaysia also now we have. It's the type of a sitting with a cushion. Then you have a backrest also. Now, one with the backrest, we don't encourage you to use it unless if you have a spinal cord injury. If you have a spinal cord injury, it's going to be difficult for you to sit in this way. So sometimes they need that backrest in order to support the back, and therefore they can still sit cross-legged. It's a very useful one actually, but it's not good Even it's not good for you to lean on the wall, because once you start leaning on the wall to meditate, it's going to be mentally lazy. Yeah? You feel good, but mentally lazy, because there's no pain, no tightness, nothing resting there. Yeah? So that's one way. Now you can use your cushions. Yeah? Sometimes they use the cushion for the buttock to raise up a little bit higher if you want to. If you use the full lotus, if you do the full lotus, normally they don't need a cushion, because the full lotus naturally it pulls the back to be straight. Naturally, I think so lah, because I never do that before. I agak only, because my two legs cannot go back lah, mana boleh, Some of you can. Maybe if you are more into the yoga thing one, maybe okay. Yeah. So for me, it's not easy. Yeah. So I don't do that. So there's no best way, There's no best way. Because this external how you sit, it's just to give you comfort only. Inverted comma, comfort. Inverted. Yeah. And then, of course, you can use your cushion. The cushions that you use, make sure that it's comfortable to you. Sometimes yogis, they bring their own cushion. Yeah. They bring their own cushion. If they need to fly halfway around the world also, they also bring their cushion. They squeeze it into like a pancake like that, How they do it? They put in the vacuum thing, and then they suck all the air out, and then all so thin. And then by the time they reach here, they open up again, and boom, all come up back again. Nice way of traveling. That's what I do when I travel overseas. Not the cushion, but for my ropes. It saves a lot of space in the back. Anyway, okay. Now the cushion also, you can put it on the thighs also, especially not at the thighs, not at the knees. If some of you, if your knees cannot go flat, then put a bit of cushion there. Now, the trick is this: if you cannot sit with the two knees go flat, what you should do every time you do your sitting meditation, you should learn to press your knee to go down. Yeah. You slowly press a little bit, press a few times, press, left, press. Then it helps to stretch out, especially the muscle at the groin area. The groin area is a bit stiff. Then therefore you need to press on it until the legs can go more or less flat with the floor or with the cushion. That's how we do it. In the beginning, in the starting, when I was young, also the leg also cannot, especially the two knees, side of the knee cannot really go down. So press. So this is how we do it. The hand position is normally what we do is you put together the palms. Sometimes some people like to put on the thighs, face, the palm face up or the palm face down. Also possible. As long as the hands are comfortable. Sometimes they put the hands like that or like that. It doesn't matter. Sometimes they also use some cushion, not cushion, sorry, towel to put onto so that it's higher. Some people, they find that if put too low on the shoulder, also get very uncomfortable after a while. So they put a bit of cushion to raise it a little bit higher. So that is perfectly all right. Yeah. Okay. Now, the back. Again here, when we do sitting meditation, it is not about trying to be as straight as a pole, like the tiang over here. Not straight, not necessary that. Uh, but doesn't mean that it has to be very bent until that you touch the floor. What is important is that it's relaxingly straight, not stiff type of straightness. Yeah. It's more like a relaxingly straight. So when you're relaxingly straight, sometimes it may bend a little bit forward. It's perfectly okay. Yeah. Don't try to be, you look at other yogis, they sit like that. You also want to sit like that. Then all your muscle and all the body become all tense up now. It looks nice. Wow, looks sweet, but not so good for meditation actually. Yeah. So make sure that you sit and then there's a relaxed tone, relaxed nature of the body that is a bit bent in that way or straight up to you. Yeah. And there's no hard and fast rule because later part, when you go deeper into the meditation, sometimes the body forces will start to shift your body a little bit. And that time, you have to see them as they are. So that one sort of back. So your neck also try to keep it straight also. Sometimes a little bit bend is not a problem. But not until like that. And there are yogis and they meditate like that. Because they try to see their rising and falling. They use the eyes to kind of, still got not still got rising and falling. That one is going to have a lot of neck ache, and also you're going to have a lot of tension. Yeah. Yesterday I told you during the walk, some people also want to use the eyes to see how they walk. Again, here it's not using the eyes, it's the mental eye, not the physical eye. More like learn to feel. Yeah. So a lot of times when we start off this meditation, these things you look small, but when you make it a habit, it's going to be difficult to change. Then every time you go back, oh, yo, Bhante, here sui lah, Bhante, here very difficult lah, here must go and see doctor massage lah. It's not. Because of course the teachers cannot go move around and see what they are doing. So keep the physicality, in a way, keep your neck straight. Because there are long hours of meditation, hour after hour after hour. Tomorrow you're going to redo it again. This is not at home. At home, you do 1 hour. After that, you go kai, you go makan, you go jalan-jalan, you go sleep, you go whatever that you are doing. Here is different. Here, we need to take care of the body too and make sure that the body is relaxed. So, more or less in that way, this is the physical external part of the body. So that one only contribute to me 10% only of your progress or 5% of your progress only. So don't be too overzealous about your sitting position. But there are places, monastery or meditation centers, they really emphasize on exactly how you sit. Everyone has to do lotus position, full lotus position. Wow, until your leg want to break. Only in full lotus position, then enlightenment will come. Ha! Oh, Bhante Gavesi. There are like that. There are people like that. No. Then only you say that they can progress and so on and so forth. That's not what the Buddha taught. The Buddha taught only you do cross-legged only. He didn't mention more than that really. So because we know different people, different techniques, so we share it out. So the 90% of it or 95% of your meditation comes with the internal part. That means your clarity of your mind and also the meditation objects. And that is important. So you have your sitting position, well and good. Now, In a sitting position, once you sit down, you learn to just be aware of the body just for a few times. From the top of the head, just aware. From the head, just aware. So you know that you are sitting. You are sitting. Because here also it's good that you are going from your walking meditation to a sitting position. From the walking, you come back to the sitting because it's a change of posture. So when you come down to the sitting, you're aware of the uh, sitting that the sitting posture that you are going through right now. So aware. So head to the bottom, head to the bottom, head to the bottom. Just a few times, enough. Just a few times enough. Just for you to your mind to be here in the present. Then the next thing is that you direct your attention to the rising and falling of your abdomen. Okay. The first thing you direct the attention to the rising and falling of the abdomen. The rising and falling of abdomen. This one is an object which is in a way that all of us have it. Of course, if you are still breathing, and it's good because that it is you put it in a way, it's a constant object. Although it changes, but it's there all the time. So it's there all the time means that you can take it as a meditation object, a preliminary meditation object, or a primary meditation object. In breath, out breath also is another object. But we keep the in breath, out breath aside first. We take the rising and falling for now. So if, as I said yesterday again, those that you come from other form of meditation, make sure you drop all your idea about all other meditation. Even you have done in breath, out breath before. Don't go and mix up with this rising and falling. So you note your rising and falling, okay? You note your rising and falling, not in the sense that you label it again. Label it as when it rises, you label it as rising. When it falls, you label it as falling. So again, you're mentally, actively labeling it rising, falling, rising, falling, rising, falling, rising, falling. Yeah. Now, if you cannot find the rising and falling, then you put your palms there. Yeah. Palms on your stomach. Or cannot put your stomach, or you want to put a cushion on the stomach, also okay. Yeah. So it's perfectly all right. So you take note of those things. Okay. So you notice the rise and fall. Learn to feel the moment, its movement. You have to get used to it. If you don't get used to it, it's going to be difficult. Again, if you those who have done like anapanasati and other form of meditation, your mind will naturally pulls back to your anapana object or your other form of meditation object. Again, here you must make the effort to bring it back again to the rising and falling. Okay? To bring it back again and again and again and again. It may take you a few days just for you to notice rising and falling. Average lah, for yogis that I've seen one, sometimes it take a week just to feel, oh, Bhante, now I can feel rising and falling. After 1 week later. For beginners, if they try hard, at least they can see longer for rising and falling. But in the beginning, it's not that easy. Say it's easy right now, okay, you watch your rising, falling, but what will happen to you is that rising, falling, rising. Okay, what happened to it? Then after your mind goes into thinking. And after that, you come back again a little bit rising, then disappear again. Then it goes into thinking, it goes into sleepiness. That's what happened for a lot of people. Okay, so here, don't give up yet. You don't give up yet. It will average, it takes you about a week, 5 days, 6 days, a week. Then only you see some significant changes in the rising and falling. At least. So, although this is a primary object right now, the rising and falling is a primary object. Now, while you're noting it, now it rise and fall, I want you to pay attention whether it's also is fast or sometimes slow. Sometimes you may notice the rising is faster than the falling. Sometimes the falling is faster than the rising. Sometimes both the same. Sometimes one is longer than the other one. If it's longer, you're aware of it that it's longer. But you still label it as rising, falling, rising, falling. Okay? Sometimes it can be tight, it can be hard, it can be tight. Then if it's tight, it's hard, you notice it as tight. You notice it as rising, falling, but you know that it was tight, it was hard. It's perfectly all right. Yeah. So your mind must be actively catching its what we call the characteristic, that is the hardness or softness of the or the rise of the movements, whether it's a fast, slow. All these are characteristics. So I want you to pay attention to those things. Not just sit there, rise, fall, sleep. Rise, fall, sleep. If you do like that, next retreat you come back, also no progress. The following retreat you come back, also no progress. So make sure you when you watch your rising and falling, you watch it clearly. Yeah? You watch it attentively. Yeah. So you watch that rising and falling. Now, if the rising and falling becomes not clear later on, then I want you to do sitting and touching also. You must learn to take up the sitting and touching. The sitting and touching object is this. Here, the sitting and touching, it's the buttock, the two buttocks, the hands that you are touching. So here, that when the hands is touching together, you notice it as touching, 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 touching. Notice about 4 or 5 times. Okay, notice it 4 or 5 times. While you're noticing it, pay attention to its warmness or coldness. Again, here you have to train your mind to do it. If you don't train your mind to do it, you put it there. What is there? You don't see anything at all. Only you put it there, pay attention to it, touching, touching. While you're not labeling it touching, you pick up its characteristic, that is hot, warm, sweaty, and so on. If you feel sweaty, then go and look for your towel or look for your shirt, and then you go and rub on it and then make it no sweat, and then you put back again. No, you're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to bear up with the sweatiness, with the warmness of the hand. Bear up. Not simply, if you don't feel like it, you just wipe on it and so on. You should not do that. So, noticing the touching a few times, then after that, shift the attention to the buttock area. The buttock area that you feel the whole buttock is sitting on the cushion. Then there, again, is an experience. If you don't experience it, it's going to be difficult to look for the sensation there. So put the mind there, label it, again, notice it as sitting, 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 sitting. Okay? Feel the sensation. Then you move to the left buttock. Again, notice sitting, 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 sitting. Then notice the sensation, whether it's hard, whether it's hot, whether it's painful, whether it's what is going on. Then after that, you shift back to your touching again. Touching, 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 touching. Then right buttock, sitting, 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 sitting. Left buttock, sitting, 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 sitting. Touching, 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 touching. Okay? This sitting and touching method it's going to be very useful for you. Later on, when you go into the deeper aspect of meditation, it's very useful. We're going to use that for sleepiness, overcoming sleepiness. We're going to use it to overcome our thinking mind, too much thinking mind also. We can use it also when we want to balance our faculties, when our energy too much or too low also. We can use that also. Later part, when we go into the coming weeks, we'll talk about those things a little bit more deeper. Okay? But I want you to learn it up. Make sure you take it seriously also. Something it's important. There is in Burma, there's a whole meditation center dedicated for sitting and touching. In the sitting and touching also there's standing meditation also. Standing meditation, you know how long you stand? You stand 1 hour. Or you stand a little bit more than 1 hour. Can do that. It's all about training only. It's all about training only. You cannot sit 1 hour in the beginning of the meditation, but you train over time. Pun boleh, also can, So the same thing, standing meditation also the same thing. You stand for starting half an hour. The same principle. You build up, build up, build up. Then it's good. So they can do that. But we don't do that all the time. But we encourage the walking meditation rather than the sitting meditation. We encourage more of a moving object that is moving. For example, rising, falling is moving. Lifting, pushing, dropping, moving. A moving object. Moving object is easier for the yogis to pick up in the beginning when they start meditation, rather than a still object. A still object means like sitting and touching is a still object. Standing is a still object because they are not moving. So moving object is easier to pick up. All right. Now, so you notice the sitting and touching. So after that, if the rising and falling becomes clear again, then bring the mind back to the rising and falling, and then again label it rising, falling, rising, falling, rising, falling, rising, falling. So this is how we pay attention to it. Now, other sensations of the body may come up. For example, like itchiness comes up. Okay? Now, if the itchiness comes up, what you should do? Scratch it out. You know the answer. We are not supposed to scratch it. And what you are supposed to do? Pay attention to it. Then this time, itchy, 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 itchy. If we start thinking whether it's a mosquito or not, then thinking. You're thinking about whether it's this or that or not, then all thinking aside. All you need to do, make sure you notice the itchiness. Notice the itchiness, you notice it clearly too. Sometimes it becomes more, it becomes stronger, it becomes deeper. It becomes spread out, it becomes one-pointed, something like that. So your job is to pay attention to it and not to scratch it. If there is a heat sensation arises and it becomes prominent to you, and then again here you drop off your rising and falling, you not heat, warm, 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 hot, 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 hot. Sometimes the hot or the heat in the body, sometimes you notice that it may be in the whole body. Sometimes it may be one part of the body only. So if it's just a one part of the body, then you notice it in that way. Again here, you don't go and get up and go and turn on the fan a bit more faster. Bear up with it. Bear up with it. Even sometimes there's coldness come in. Cold. Bear up with it until you cannot tahan, until you cannot bear up. So the moment you sit down, try not to move already. Even it's hot, whether it's cold, whether it's uh, itchy, try not to move the body at all. Keep the body still. What else? Now, if the heat disappear, the heat slowly disappear, less prominent, then go back again to rising and falling. If the itchiness become less prominent, less clear, go back to the rising and falling again. Yeah? Uh, that is how you come back. Then if another thing is clear, then you go to that object again, like itchiness or sensation and so on. Yeah? Also, there will be pain coming up. There'll be a lot of pain coming up for some time for some yogis. The pain may arise usually like if you are a beginner, maybe within like 10 minutes or 15 minutes already very difficult for you. Now, what I want you to do with the pain right now is that, again, move your attention to the pain. Move your mental attention to the pain and pay attention to the pain. This time, again, you label it. Label it as like, what sort of pain? If it's a heart pain, then notice heart, 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 heart. If it's a numb pain, numb, 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 pump. If you feel like it's twisting, 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 twisting. If you feel like it's a sawing pain, wow, saw, 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 and then sawing, sawing, sawing. If you don't have vocabulary for it, then pain, 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 pain. Whatever it happens, then you don't run away. And then this is the first thing, you identify the nature of the pain. Then secondly, you identify its changes. Changes means that it's going to go more, 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 more. Ayo. Or sometimes it go less, less, less. Sometimes it changes. Sometimes from like heart pain, then it goes into numb pain, it goes into twisting pain. You kind of change one pain to another pain. Then your job is just to pay attention to them as they are. So you must learn to bear up with the pain. You learn to bear up with the pain. All right? There'll be a lot of challenges when it comes to pain. There are some yogis, once in a while I'll meet them. After several retreats already, still cannot really accept the pain. How come so many retreats already must have pain one? Then sometimes the question will come, what is the reason we want to note the pain? Don't worry about the reason yet. This now is not the reason for you to go in to reason out all these things yet. So your job right now, I say you note the pain, you note the pain. You know rising, falling, you know rising, falling. Later part in the talks, in the coming days, we'll slowly talk about it. The different types of why we should do all these type of things. Okay. Now, also together with the pain and all the itchiness and so on, now there'll be a lot of times there'll be thinking also, a lot of thinking. In the beginning part of our meditation, it's not easy to catch the thinking. You'll be drowned into the story, into the memories, into the future plannings and so on. Now, if you can catch it and don't go into the story, if you can catch it, you just note it as just planning. Or if you cannot, thinking. Or if the memory of the past, just memory. If you're thinking about the present also, just not thinking. Don't go inside the mental object yet. You should note a few times already, try to come back to your body again. Try to come back to your rising, falling. Try to come back to your pain or your bodily sensation. That is more important. Uh, don't go into your thinking object in the beginning of the practice. Maybe a week later, maybe 10 days later, we're going to look into the mind a little bit more. So in the meantime, don't take up the mind object too much yet. And also the same thing, the senses also. Hearing senses, especially the hearing, and also the seeing part of when you are walking. These senses also try not to go there too much. If you hear something, not hearing, enough, come back again to the body. If you happen to walk right step, left step, if you notice things outside there, not seeing, enough, come back to your bodily sensation or bodily movements, right step, left step, rising, falling, or whatever that you are doing. Make sure that you don't go into the senses, especially if you are a beginner. You're going to get distracted, easily for you to get distracted, and then therefore your mindfulness will become weak and, other words, not there. It's not going to be continuous. So in the beginning part, it's always good to use the bodily sensation and also the feeling sensation. Feelings is where there are pain and itchiness and so on. So make sure that you try to do your sitting meditation properly. In the days to come, we're going to look into the deepening aspect of how we can really pay attention to all the finer details of the sitting and walking and how the mind works. All right. Okay. So we stop here for tonight. All right. Tomorrow also we have Dhamma talk. So again, yeah. All right. I'll share merits right now. Idang me bawanang nibbanasa pachayo hotu. May my mental cultivation be a condition for the realization of Nibbana. Imang no punya bagang sabba satanang dema. We share these merits with our departed ones, with all beings and all the devas. Sabbe satta sukhi hontu anumodantu. May all beings be happy. May they rejoice in these merits. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Okay.